keep your violin happy and healthy, there's just a couple general care and maintenance things that I wanted to touch on. And the big one for safety and for preventing repairs or damage to your instrument, the big principle is to just treat it like a baby. So don't leave it in your car in extreme heat or extreme cold. And don't leave it outside for a long time if it's either too hot or too cold. When you put the instrument down, either when it's out of its case or even when it's in its case, it's okay if you store it on its back or even on its side, but don't store it with the bridge side down because the bridge is very fragile and it can break if it's, it has any pressure applied directly to the bridge. If your pegs are always slipping like this, 9 times out of 10, you just need to push the peg into the peg backs while you're turning. And that will usually fix the problem. However, if they're really squeaky or just really won't stay, you want to look into what's called peg compound. And there's a variety of different ones there. And it's just sort of like a putty that will help the pegs turn smoothly. And that can go a long way in helping your instrument stay in tune. Every so often, just take a look at your bridge to make sure that the feet are flush with the top of the instrument and that also that the bridge is standing up straight. And we want to look at sort of the tailpiece side to make sure that that is completely perpendicular with the top of the instrument and standing straight. A lot of times the bridge will want to curve towards the fingerboard. And I've got another video on how to do this. It's kind of hard to do standing up, but essentially you want to try to pull back the top of the bridge so that it's not leaning towards the fingerboard. We always want it to be standing up straight. As I mentioned earlier, your instrument is very susceptible to changes in temperature as well as humidity. And if you live in a northern climate, you just want to keep an eye on the humidity because in winter it gets very dry, and so you may have to use some sort of humidifier either in your case, in the instrument, or just in your home to prevent it from getting too dry. A lot of this glue will get really brittle and you'll get open seams if there's not enough humidity. Ideally, you want to keep it between 40 and 60%, and there's a lot of different kinds of humidifiers on the market. So keep an eye on that if you live in a cold environment in the winter. I generally don't recommend DIYing any instrument repairs. If you have an open seam or a crack or something else serious, I'd recommend finding someone locally who works on musical instruments. That magical word you're looking for is a luthier, and they can help you get your instrument back up and running. Your strings will wear out over time. Yes, they might break in dramatic fashion to let you know that they need to be replaced, but also they will just start to sound duller and less lively. And so it may be 6 months, it may be a year before you might need to replace them or want to replace them, but you usually will be very surprised at how good your instrument sounds if you change your strings. If you get to the point where your fine tuners are completely too tight, like they don't turn at all, and you can see on this one, the fine tuner, it spreads out like this. It gets really close to hitting the top of the instrument. Your fine tuner might not do it like that, but any kind of bump and it will start to scratch the top of the instrument. We don't really want that. So if you can't use your fine tuners, what you need to do is loosen them, basically as loose as they'll go. And you can hear that the pitch really drops. Okay, and now, but don't go too far because you can completely unscrew it and then it won't be useful. So you still want to have some tension there, and then use your peg to bring the pitch back up about to where it should be. And then you can use your fine tuner again, and hopefully it'll be a lot more useful. And in closing, I know that you want to share your love of music with those around you, but I generally don't recommend letting other people play your instrument, especially if they don't know how to play your instrument. A lot of accidents can happen when you're handing instruments back and forth, and if an instrument is dropped, really bad things can happen quickly. So generally just say hang on to your own instrument. Thanks so much for watching all this, and we'll see you at the next video. Hey, before I lose you to the rest of the internet, if you're ready to learn how to start playing the violin or improve the skills that you already have with a step-by-step plan that actually works, I encourage you to check out my course over at onviolin.com. It's fun, it's flexible, and it's built for making real progress. I'd love to help you get started, and I look forward to working with you more on violin.com.